Nayia Pierrakos, thanks for joining me today.
It's my pleasure, Larry. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So today I want to talk about you as an entrepreneur. Have done very well in real estate with renovating homes, selling homes. You mentor and coach people as well. You've spoken to audiences. But first, I want to start off with your background. How did you get into entrepreneurship? You come from an entrepreneurial family. What was the spark, the drive in you that helped you get started?
Okay, great question. I had graduated college. I went to Virginia Tech, and I was working for an IT consulting company. Being 23 years old and the youngest business development IT manager in the company,
Wow.
I got laid off.
Ah,
6 months of working at the company, I got laid off. The owners brought in another account manager who had a book of accounts. So when that happened, I got devastated. Uh, we always think that it happens to us and what could I have done right, right? We go
mhm.
into those stories. And thank God for my mom at the time. She had been a business owner for many years,
Okay.
and she gave me the idea to start my own business. And that's how I got into the retail industry.
Mm.
She helped me and purchased my first inventory order, and I opened my first kiosk at a local mall. You know
Okay.
those kiosks that you see in the middle of the stores, right?
Yep.
So I started out small. So I opened my first kiosk, and as time was progressing, within a few years, I started opening more and more. I had 8 to 10 at the same time.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I even expanded to local airports. Dallas International Airport, I had a couple there. And
So,
I'm in my,
you had a workforce that you were managing in these chains of kiosks. Is that right?
yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I did. So being 23 years old, having just graduated college, now I'm like, oh, I'm running a business and I have to manage people. So I
Yeah.
had to figure things out on my own, right? Making mistakes, figuring out, okay, what sells, what doesn't sell, in the retail industry. But I really enjoyed it. And through that, I did that for 8 years,
Hmm.
being in the retail industry. And that's how I also got into real estate because being in my mid 20s and making really good money, I said I have to invest it somehow.
Okay.
Um, and I got my real estate license, purchased some properties, and things went on from there.
And so, as far as real estate goes, you said you purchased your first property? Was it a renovation? How did that all come about? Did somebody teach you about the real estate industry before you jumped in? Did you take classes? How did it all formulate?
Okay, so when I first got started, no one taught me anything.
Okay.
I got mentors later on, but when I first got started, I met a local real estate agent, and he said, "Oh, you could buy a rental property." So I purchased a property traditionally, by going to a bank and putting 20% down,
Hmm.
okay, and getting a rental, uh, putting in a tenant, and cash flowing from there, right? What
Hmm.
I do now is totally different.
Yeah.
I don't purchase properties the way I did 17, 18 years ago.
Okay, okay. And fast forward to today. You've been in the industry for some time now. I'm sure you've figured out different types of strategy when it comes to making cash purchases, things of that sort. And you also coach and mentor people, which I'm really interested in. How did the coaching come about? Because you could have stayed, just in the same lane, purchasing real estate, um, you know, quote unquote doing it for yourself, but you decided to go out on a limb in addition to that and help people accomplish their dreams and figure out how they could grow and build wealth through real estate. Could you talk some more about that?
Yes. So when the 2009 crash happened, and the real estate industry was drastically affected, uh, at that time, I had two young boys, actually, and I was pregnant with my third. So my thought was, okay, being a mom, that I need to spend time with my kids, uh, my time is limited. So I figured the most flexible job that I can get into or career would be real estate. So
Okay.
I reached out to a friend of mine who had been in real estate for a while, and I said, "Do you know someone that can help me?" So she connected me with my first mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, at that time, I also owned a franchise with my husband at the time, and I had 7, 8 employees. But when
Mm-hmm.
I met this person, and he was renovating properties in real estate, and he lived an hour away from where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
So when we had coffee, I said, "Dave, can I follow you around once a week so I can learn what you do?"
Mm.
I would drive once a week to Fredericksburg and follow him around the whole day, spend the whole day with them, see properties that he was renovating. And that's how I got into into a different aspect of real estate on the renovating side.
Okay.
Now, I'm learning through this. I'm learning what Dave was doing great. It also took away the fear because I saw properties that had mold, termite damage, fire damage, and I realized that it can all get fixed when you know what you're doing and you have the right team in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there were also things that Dave was not doing right,
Okay.
and I learned from his mistakes. So I said, okay, well, I don't want to do it this way, and I don't want to risk capital, too much capital. Um, because when you get into the renovating game and you start rehabbing properties, you will run out of your own money, and ultimately you will have to sign your name on a contract and give a personal guarantee to a hard money lender.
Okay.
That made me uncomfortable because I had rentals that I was afraid I was going to lose if something went south. Okay. So
Mhm.
you've heard the phrase, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Absolutely.
So that's when my second mentor showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he was out of California, Marco, and he was doing things more creatively and structuring deals on terms, doing things differently. And I got involved. I purchased his programs, his systems. I learned from there, and he brought me on board in a very short time frame as one of his national coaches. So that's how I got into the coaching and the mentoring side.
Mm-hmm.
And I would travel across the country every 2 months and be on stage with him in front of 300 to 500 people, investors. And by coaching investors and spending thousands of hours, you know, on the phone, helping individuals all over the country, I realized that that's my passion. I love to help and make a difference, and I know I can do it. Uh,
Okay, so you mentioned something very interesting about entrepreneurship. You met someone who was in the real estate market that knew the market better than you did, and you knew that you could learn a lot from him. And you drove a substantial amount of distance on a consistent basis just to be around them, so you could learn more. When it comes to entrepreneurship, I'm one to believe that you have to put yourself around people you want to become, who have the same goals and who can teach you something more than you already know. How important do you think that is when it comes to entrepreneurship?
I think that is everything. That is very important
Hmm.
because if you have a role model or a mentor who has been where you are, okay, and you want to go where they are,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you will save a tremendous amount of time, energy, effort, and also it will save you money, because being an entrepreneur, trying to figure things out on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
by yourself, can be challenging at times. We all make mistakes, and you will continue to make mistakes. That's how you learn. But by having a mentor, someone who's been where you are, um, or putting yourself around individuals who have more education, more knowledge, can definitely save you time, money, energy, and you'll get there faster.
Yeah, and one of the things that I tell people sometimes as well is that the people that you network with, or even someone who knows what you know, might not be the person that you're going to do the business deal with. You know, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, but sometimes people that you network with and meet are the thing that gets you to the thing. So the importance of having those relationships and maintaining those relationships, I totally agree, 100%. I think another, shortcoming when it comes to a lot of entrepreneurs, and I can speak for myself, is trying to be perfect in everything you
Mm.
do, trying to figure out how to do everything. When I say that, finance, marketing, whatever industry in, whatever you're selling, trying to be perfect at all of these different things. And I learned early on that it's near impossible, and it can be overwhelming and time consuming. And you have some thoughts when it comes to being perfect as well. So I'd like to hear what you have to say about perfection.
Yes. Well, perfection is not possible, in my opinion,
Hmm.
when you're a business owner, right? So if you're waiting on perfecting something before launching it, no
Yeah.
matter whatever that is, it can paralyze you, to the point where you might never do it.
Mm.
Okay. Um, One thing is always constant, and that is change. Things are
Yeah.
always evolving and changing. Obviously, you know that firsthand in the IT industry, right?
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
we have to be, as a business owner, we have to be willing to adapt and change as well.
Hmm.
Um, what we think is perfect today is not perfect tomorrow. So as long as we are doing the best we can, okay, with the resources and the knowledge that we have today, okay, and based on the systems that we have built up until that point, we're on our way to having a more successful business.
And in one of your articles, you posted about enjoying life while succeeding, and I'm very big with that as well. I think if you're doing what you love, you're automatically enjoying life. But a lot of people, I think, are doing things. They're making a whole lot of money. They're traveling the world, et cetera, et cetera. But they're not enjoying life while they're succeeding. And this is something that you hone in on one of your articles, and I want to hear you elaborate on that a little bit more.
Okay, so I like this question. A couple of years ago, I went to a Tony Robbins event, Date with Destiny, and I worked on the purpose of my life.
Okay.
Um, and my purpose is to be joyful,
Mm.
enjoy the present moment, and do the best that I can for myself and others. Okay, so enjoying life is one of the secrets to succeeding. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Other ones are being grateful and optimistic. Okay. So when we are grateful for what we have, okay, and optimistic for where we're going, okay, we can enjoy our lives more, which in turn brings more success, okay, both personal and professional.
Hmm.
So enjoying your life when succeeding is super important. Um, and that is why one of my intentions for this year is to play more, have more fun,
Hmm.
i- And the more I'm enjoying it, the more creative I'm getting, the more ideas I get, the more fun I have, and the more success I have. That has been my experience the last 7, 8 years.
So it's like this full circle of life that you're doing what you love to do. You're succeeding in it as you see yourself, and you're enjoying it while you're doing it. So it just keeps going in this endless loop. And you're saying while you're enjoying it, you're succeeding more, and it just starts to evolve into this big a positive ball of energy, and everything is going great in life. I agree with that, and I think it works the same way as well. I think we get what we want when we least expect it, and when we least expect things is when we're happy and we're not expecting it to come, but that's when it comes in. So that makes perfect sense, and that kind of goes into you coaching and being the mentor. I think you really enjoy teaching people on how to architect their lives to what they want. And a quote I like to read that someone said about you is that you have a passion and vision to help people transform and empower their lives through real estate. So can you talk a little bit more about your coaching and mentorship?
Yes. So my big vision, mission in life is to improve the lives of at least 1,000 individuals
Okay.
by helping to make them millionaires. Okay.
Awesome.
So I have the right systems in place that I can help them do that. Because I have copied my business models, everything that has worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I, in turn, want to share that with individuals that we're aligned with. Okay, that's key. And we have similar goals and intentions. And that's where I created my family, or my tribe of grateful family partners. That's what I call it.
So
So
you've talked to a lot of people. What would you say their number one setback is when it comes to architecting their lives the way they want it?
that is a great question, because from my experience, from thousands of hours of coaching calls with clients all over the country,
Mm-hmm.
80% of the time uh, that I spent with them was more on personal development, on the personal growth piece, than on the real estate piece. The real estate piece was only 20%.
Okay.
Uh, so helping individuals overcome themselves, that's the hardest thing. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, Discipline doesn't come easy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And based on our experiences, from the point of being kids, we have limitations. We're the only ones that limit ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So helping them overcome themselves, where they don't have victim mindsets, get rid of the stories. So helping them with the language, okay, it will
Okay.
empower them and give them more confidence, so they can see themselves be those leaders that they need to be those business owners where they can bring value and service to other individuals. Because if you don't see yourself as the person that you need to be, you will never be able to get the results you want. Even if you spend $1 million to get the best coach out there,
Mm-hmm.
okay, experience is something you cannot buy. You have to build on it yourself. You have to get your own experience.
So would you say that it's better for someone to spend money and time on personal development, or the actual business objective that they're trying to achieve?
I think they should do that simultaneously.
Okay.
And it's something, and when you look at any business or any successful business owner out there, or
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur, or leader, whether they're a teacher in a university or any kind of organization, The reason why they're there is because they have the confidence, they have had the experience, okay, to get them to that point,
Hmm.
right? So all those individuals have done a lot of self work, a lot of personal development, personal growth. Okay. They would not be where they are if they didn't see themselves that way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% that, yeah, you definitely have to see yourself as that person you want to become. And you're absolutely right. If you spend all the money in the world and the best coaches, the best information, education, but you don't see yourself as that person, it would be very hard to rise to that level for which you're trying to achieve. There's no question that you'd like to help people. I think it's very noble. And the last thing I want to talk about is your impact fund and making a difference. So could you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Sure. My impact fund, it's something that I implemented some years back. One of my mentors, um, Yannick Silver, who wrote a book, Evolved Enterprise.
Hmm.
Uh, I started implementing this in my acquisitions company here in the DC metro area where I purchase properties. And I have also implemented it into the Grateful Family Partners. Um, I believe as business owners, we can make a bigger impact. Okay. And it's up to us to change our communities
Hmm.
and ultimately change the world. We have a lot of power
Yeah.
because of the people that we interact with. So, being in real estate, um, with the numbers that I'm dealing with, okay, when I purchase property is 500,000, 600, 700,000 here in the DC metro area, I have implemented that a percentage of every property I sell goes to an impact fund, which in turn will be used to give local scholarships. I have given scholarships to high school students, um, to local nonprofits, whether it's a homeless nonprofit helping homeless individuals, or an organization, even in Haiti. I went to Haiti 3 years ago and I helped build a village there with a group
Nice.
of other entrepreneurs.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. And I agree. We all do have a responsibility, even if you're not an entrepreneur in some way, shape, or form. If we can give back to our communities, I think it helps us thrive as, let's even just say, as a planet, a lot better. Nayia, I appreciate you taking the time today. Everything that you provided was very insightful, and definitely look forward to having you again.
Thank you so much, Larry. Have a wonderful year ahead. And I would love to be part of your podcast again. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.